would have a lot of opportunities at running that thing back with pick six.
Well, you know what? I did pick out Ryan Fitzmagic. So how you feel about it?
Hey,
Hey, he around
I'm
18
not
years.
surprised how long you've been in the league and so many teams. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I picked him off, but I picked off a younger version of Ryan. This older version of Ryan actually is pretty damn good, and he can flat out play. Don't forget the guy got benched in Miami for winning too much. So that tells you a lot about him and where he's at. And he's in the top, hey, believe it or not, he's in the top 5, top 6 in QBR and completions in the last 3 years of his career. He's got better. It's like Ryan, he's getting better. But I got something that I feel, as much as I know Ryan is going to help us win and he's going to be that guy, you know, sometimes in football, it's all about the story. I feel a Kurt Warner type story happening with Tyler Heineke. I just feel if Ryan Fitzmagic missed just 1 or 2 games, he'll never get his job back again. I feel that Tyler Heineke would get in there and really become Kurt Warner of the Washington football team. Yes, the guy that comes out of nowhere that was bagging groceries that turns into a Hall of Famer. I gotta feel it.
How does that OG title make you feel to know that you had made an imprint into this fan base and things like that?
Oh, that's what it make you feel. Oh, you know, you used to look at the guys like B. Mitch and Doc Walker, you know, you Sonny Jurgensen's, and you be like, man, they played and they was a part of historic teams, and all of a sudden, you know, we didn't have any history. I think we brought a different energy to the city, and you know, just having the luxury of playing with Sean T and playing with Santana, myself, Marcus, Chris, I think the guys, you know, Smoke, those guys that was in that community meant so much. You know, even the unsung heroes, the Mike Sellers,
what up, though?
Right.
We starting up real soon, y'all. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I'm just getting these tweets out, man. I think I'm dolo today. Give me 2 seconds, man. We're going to start this thing up.
That meant well or did well. And then you have those guys that didn't do shit there that the community can't stand. So everybody came in, you know, the guys that during my term, you know, the LeVar Harringtons of the world that was everything community that participated, that was around, the change, you know, the change to Dan and everything that had to go along with it. I think it was 05 or something. I just remember we had the city on fire. You know,
yeah, for sure. Let's get it.
It was good. Just the sports period at that time. It was memorable. It seemed like it was a longer,
turn this thing down.
A longer run, but it was really like.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Should I keep this? Yeah, let me keep this up for a second. Mute this thing. Make sure that's muted. Boom. All right. Oh, there we go. Welcome back to another episode of the Trapper Dive Instant Recap, man. This is your boy Jamal. I think I'm solo today, man. Provided to you by 214 Media, of course. Obviously. Hey, y'all see the title, man? 123 Cancun, baby. We on vacation, man. Let me check in. Like, I'm with the comments all day, man. What's going on, DMV fan? Jarian, what up, though? Hey, I hope we have a better offseason than we did last year. Virtually all of the acquisitions we made fell flat on their faces, draft and free agency. Jarian, I hope we I hope we never have to see Taylor Heineke starting again. Damn, tell us how you really feel, bruh. Tell us how you really feel. What else? Vet and free agency plus the draft. Okay, so we got a couple things going on, right? Let's go and get through the information right quick. Washington finishes obviously on the season 7-10, beating the New York Giants 22-7 in the final game of the season. Let me remove this from the studio right quick. Heineke finishes the day 9 of 18, 120 yards, 3 sacks surrendered by the Washington football team. Antonio Gibson had his monster day of the season. What's going on, Merle? He had his monster day of the season. 21 carries, 146 yards, 1 touchdown. the Washington. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see this like live. But Washington finishes with 37 carries, 226 yards on the ground with 1 touchdown. Terry McLaurin, 4 receptions, 93 yards. And it's kind of funny looking at the stat line for the receivers. Only 9, obviously, with Heineke going 9 of 18, the receivers only had 9 receptions on the day, or there was only 9 receptions of the day. Terry had 4, Jared had 2, and the rest of the John Bates and Antonio and Adam had 1. Cam Sims with a drop in the back of the end zone. High pass, very high pass, but drop, it is what it is, right? Let's get to the defense. Cole Holcomb, 11 tackles, 6 solo. Jamie Davis right behind him with 8 tackles, 3 solo. And then on the Giants side, Jake Fromm, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 103 yards on the day on 15 completions. He was their leading rusher, by the way, which is not unfamiliar for this Washington football team, the New York Giants, right? You have the quarterback with being the leading rusher for the team. 5 carries, 53 yards once again. Darius Slayton, their leading receiver, two receptions, 29 yards. Kenny Golladay right behind him with 3 for 22, and the business decision that he made midway through, I think the second quarter it was. For everybody that's in here, let's go ahead and get this thing out the way now. Look, I told y'all it's probably going to be us. Let me go ahead and put the information in the stream. There is the link if you all want to call in. Anything that's on your mind. Let me put the link, the stream link in the YouTube. Give me 2 seconds. Let me go ahead and put that in right now. Anybody and everybody that want to get things off your chest, man, the floor is yours. This is an open floor show today. Tell us what you think about the game. Tell us what you think about the future of the team. Tell us what you can do now that the Washington football team season is over, right? Let's talk about everything. It's our show. It's our show today. And matter of fact, let me go ahead and tweet that out so I can make sure that these folk know that they can come and chop it up too. But while we're doing that, everybody in the chat, talk to me. What is going to be your storyline heading into the 2021 offseason, or 2022 offseason, excuse me. So obviously, as you know, after each and every game, we do a storyline. And for me, I think this is a layup of one, but at the same time, it's true, right? You're talking about 2 sorry teams that made for such a boring game in the final season. It couldn't have been much worse. A much worse outcome for the Washington football team and its fans, and for us viewing the New York Giants from an outsider's perspective, to see Joe Judge and the New York Giants look as terrible as they did on the offensive side of the football, but also their play calling too. We all know the inevitable conversation that will come about in New York, and that's about the status of Joe Judge moving forward. Clearly, they have intentions on keeping him, but when you run a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 9 from inside your 5 and not even having to like you're down, I think 3-0 or 6-0 at that point, for you not to give yourself a chance in that moment speaks volumes. But then on the very next drive, for you to go 3rd and 8 and run the ball and basically give up on that drive as well, just kind of indicates that you were already over the season. So much for a guy who told us that he was quitting. He told us that he was, excuse me, let me clarify. He told us that he wasn't a quitter and that he wasn't quitting. Speaking of Joe Judge. So that's kind of interesting. You know, those business decisions, man, when the season is a wrap, and you know the season is a wrap, but you got to kind of tell the media one thing and then tell us or show us another thing. Like, we don't really give a damn about the game, but I'm going to tell people that we care. You know, when you look that bad, it's hard for you to really escape it. Okay. So let me go ahead and bring up Twitter. We're going to sift through the post-game comments live as well, as much as we can. Let me share the screen, and go from there. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Dakota, you my girl, but I'm gonna need you to relax for a second. All right, I'm gonna need you to relax. Okay, so I think we're good on this side. Let me check the app again. Boom. Let me bring down the comment. Yeah, hi, current comment. Oh yeah, bring it up. That's stupid. I'm just trying to find the right scene. I think this will probably end up working. Oh, I'm tripping. Where is it at? Now we got it. There we go. I'm still getting used to this. Okay. So we're going to keep this up. We're going to keep the beat writers thing up so we can catch the quotes as they come in from the beat writers and stuff like that. Keep things pushing. Now let me go back to the comments. So Jarian mentioned that he's watching the local Chiefs game against in the playoffs. Oh yeah, that's what you're doing after the that's what you're doing now that the season is over. I'm watching the local Chiefs in the playoffs. DMV storyline: quarterback. Let me bring that up for us right quick. Quarterback. Look, man. Let me get through some things right quick. We do have somebody calling in, so let me get through one thing right quick. The quarterback was once again frustrating. I think one of the things that I tweeted towards the tail end of the game was that, you know, with the way Washington was playing 12-0 in a game where the Giants were literally trying to hand it to you, but the offense couldn't produce much. I was just waiting for that one Taylor Heineke play where you threw the interception and you're like, okay, if nothing else confirmed that we needed a new quarterback to moving forward, then this was the play, right? And technically it happened in the first quarter. It happened targeting Terry out of your first 4 times out of your first 5 pass attempts. And luckily for you, the interception was dropped. But Taylor, time and again, like, we kind of know the answer with him. It's not pretty. We know what we need to do moving forward. The first options for us, for everybody, right? The first options for us is to simply go all in on your trade options. Go all in on your trade options, and then moving forward, evaluate who out of those trade options make the most sense and which teams out of those trade options will say, I'm willing to have this conversation with you, Mr. Rivera, or you, Mr. Hurney, or you, Rivera and Hurney. I'm willing to have these conversations with you, and let's go from there. So yes, the first option does need to be trade, but who are we trading for? Tell us, who are we trading for? So Wilson made a comment for everybody who don't know, everybody who listening live or watching live, excuse me. Let me go ahead and pull his comment up, and let me remove this banner. That'll be easier. How can we donate to the channel? All right. So for those who are watching on Twitch, let's get this out of the way and let's have our guy Merle come in. Matter of fact, I'll add him to the stream right now and just have Merle on mute for a quick second. So how can you all donate to the channel? First and foremost, I appreciate all the new viewers that just checked in for a quick second. If you are watching on Twitter, try to migrate yourself to YouTube or Twitch so you can be a part of the conversation, whether it is that you want to call in or that you want to comment, right? The link is in there, and I'll put it in here once more and then get to Wilson's question about donating to the channel. Let me go ahead and put it in the YouTube. There's the link again, and then in the Twitch. Okay, so how to donate to the channel. YouTube is different. I don't really have any donations set up for that. Let me see if I can find that, because it's a PayPal that I have set up for donations. Hold on. Okay, here we are, donations. So I'm about to put a link into the YouTube for those who may want to donate. I don't really have it set up because I don't have the proper requirements or criteria to be able to do that for YouTube, but donations are right there for in the YouTube chat, and then for the Twitch chat, donations right there. You can also sub to my channel. I think it's $5 for a tier 1 sub, and that helps support the channel as well. Obviously, I appreciate the subscriptions that I do have currently, but if you want to donate or if you want to subscribe, the links are in the chat for Twitch and YouTube. So there you go. Again, everything is appreciated. I appreciate y'all sticking with me throughout this whole season. Me, AJ, Dre, Eric, Rick, Rye, all the people from all 32, all sections of the Trap or Dive, man. It's been great. Y'all have been great, man. And we're just getting started. You know what I'm saying? We're just getting started. So there's all the information that we got. Merle, let me go ahead and check in with my boy Merle. How you feeling, big dog? How you feeling?
I'm good, Jamal. How are you?
I cannot complain. Look, man, 1, 2, 3 Cancun. That's kind of the nature of this episode, man. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to some good football next week. I'm looking forward to some good playoff football in general. Even the Sunday night game tonight with the Raiders and the Chargers, man. I'm looking forward to it. But obviously, we have some Washington football team things to discuss. The floor is yours. Take this show whichever way you want to take it, and I will sit back and listen. Let's go.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having your show on, period. I've been a fan ever since I ran into it on YouTube. I think you do a great job in covering the Washington football team, or whatever they're going to be called on February 2nd. So I appreciate you for that and had given us a voice to voice our opinion about the team. Today, I'm happy. I'm happy that Terry got his 1,000 yards. I'm happy that Gibson got his 1,000 yards. I'm not happy we won the game because that ruins our draft position, but a win is a win. As far as off season, I kind of agree with Ron that quarterback should be the top priority, and I also agree with him what type of quarterback he's looking at. In our division, we have fast, physical defenses, so you do need a mobile quarterback with a strong arm. Draft-wise, I think whoever fits Scott's Terry offense the best would be probably Sam Howell. I know he had a down year in North Carolina this year, but I think he fits this offense what Scott likes to do because you know he's not going to fire Scott or his coaching staff. Free agent quarterback-wise, maybe the best person that fits this offense would be Mitch Trubisky. But I'm not only thinking about, he's mobile and he's got a strong arm. Not only, I'm thinking you need to find a starting quarterback, you probably need to find a backup until Sam Howell's good and ready because we see Kyle Allen is not going to be here. And as far as trading-wise, well, if you know Ron's history in Carolina, he's never traded his first-round draft pick. He just doesn't believe in that. So we're going to be stuck, I think, at number 12. I think after the win today, because I know we were number 9 going into the game. So if you're at number 12, I'm thinking more you need to draft like maybe a corner, maybe like a sauce.
So we do have an update. I think because the Bears lost. Let me look at the other scores. Hold on. The Bears lost, and we had somebody else that lost that helped us. Dang, where was the other game at? I just had it. The Bears and I think Detroit. The Detroit winning I think helped us, I believe. I don't know, my math may be wrong. It was either Detroit or it was one of these teams. It was Chicago and another team that helped us, but I think we moved up one spot. So continue. My bad.
So we're at number 11. I'm also happy that they re-signed Charles Leno. He played solid for us. He was a little shaky in the beginning, but he's played solid for us all year long. I would bring Brandon Sheriff back, but I wouldn't bring him back above market value for him. That's my opinion. You can get other free agent guards to replace him, like somebody like a James Daniels in Chicago or Will Hernandez from New York. I'm not going to pay him. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so I was going to ask you. So you're one in the camp, fair market value, that you would bring back Brandon Sheriff, which, if our math is right, is around 18 to 19 million, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're okay. All right.
Yeah, because the cap is going to go up. It's projected to go up 30 million. So that's fair market value. What this team needs to do is just find people who fits their system defensively and offensively and sign them at market value. That's what the good teams do. You look at teams like New England, you look at teams like Tennessee. They sign players, but they sign them at market value. They don't overvalue and overpay for players. And then they underperform. So that's what I'm thinking. Resigning most of our players would be another good thing. Resigning somebody like McKissick.
Yeah.
I would love for them to extend Terry, but it looks like they're going to wait till next year to do that.
So if you had, and the Trapper Dive crew does plan on doing this upcoming week, but Merle, I want to have you on and get your opinion, get your take. This is going to be a impromptu question, but if you had to categorize your 3 top offseason moves that you had to do in order to, I mean, obviously you can't foresee a successful 2022. But if this was the 3 moves that you knew would have a winning record or put you in contention of playoffs, possibly the division, obviously, what are those 3 most important moves that you would make for the Washington football team?
Obviously, quarterback be number 1.
Yeah.
Signing linebackers like A.J. Johnson or Foye or Coulomb from Atlanta would be 2 because our linebacker core is holding us back from the defense.
Yeah.
And last would be a free safety. Every great defense you see now has a great defensive tackle like we do in Jonathan Allen, great middle linebacker, and a strong free safety. You won't find a good defense in the NFL that don't have those 3 things. Strong up the middle. As far as offensively, like I said, just keep the offensive line you got. Just make sure they stay healthy. Yeah, I think running the ball like 35 to 40 times like they did today, that's the formula of success for this team. Every time we've run it like that, we've won the game. So those will be my issues going into 2022 to have a successful season. We have to be a run-first offense. That's how we're built. Throwing the ball 35 times, we're going to lose. A minimum of 35 to 40 runs a game and use all 3 running backs like we did today. We're loaded at running back. We're loaded at running back. We just don't use them. And for some reason, I don't understand why Scott doesn't do that.
Well, Scott doesn't do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Merle, last closing thoughts before I let you go. Obviously appreciate you calling in and obviously appreciate the kind words that you gave starting off. If you got anything to close out, if there's any changes that you would make from the coaching staff, any changes or just keep things status quo. If your opinion is on what's his name, Sweat Allen, or anybody on the defensive line, Ioannidis, in terms of moving blocks for a potential trade, anything like that. If you got some closing thoughts, let us know what they are, so we can keep those in mind as we move forward through this offseason.
Yeah, a couple of things. I would trade Montez Sweat. I don't think he plays the run well. I think he's lazy at times and undisciplined. I can live with James Smith-Williams and Chase Young at the defensive end. I love the way James Smith-Williams plays. He plays disciplined, and he plays within the scheme. 2, I would fire Scott Turner and Ken Zampese. If the rumors are true that the Baltimore Ravens are going to let Greg Roman go, I would hire him in a second and then draft Malik Willis. Because at that point, that guy knows how to develop quarterbacks like that. Malik Willis will be your starter day 1. Those would be my 2 major things I would do.
Okay. All right, Merle, man, I appreciate you calling in. Look, man, if you haven't already, eat some good food. If you drink it a little bit. Sit back, watch the games. If you want to chat out or listen to the show for a little bit longer, absolutely do that. But I appreciate you calling in, big dog. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Like I said, great show. Appreciate you. Enjoy your Sunday.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. All right. And there's our boy Merle. So a couple of things. One of the things that kind of stood out to me with Merle on the last part, the Zampese is interesting because, and I'll give credit to Kevin Sheehan. He was the first person who said it out loud. He's not the first person who thought it, all right? But he's the first person who had his vocals out there saying it. That, when you look to make changes on a team like this, it's not necessarily a team who underperformed as much as it did. It's not necessarily the coordinator spot that you need to look to first. You might want to start looking a little bit smaller. The position coaches. Now, first thing that popped into my head was a position coach on defense. I think his name is Sam Mills III, the defensive line coach for the Washington football team. And Merle mentioned Zampese, quarterback coach. Obviously, I don't necessarily agree with that part, the quarterback's coach needing to go. But at the same time, it's an interesting point because it's not necessarily the coordinators that needs to be looked at. You have to do a little bit tweaking from the position coach standpoint as well. Like, who can you really look towards? And then another thing, so he brought up something really interesting in terms of Zampezi. That is something that they can evaluate. I don't agree, but at the same time, it's not to say that he's wrong. It's just to say what I'm about to talk about right now, and that's the coordinator spot. I don't know if we can really bank on Greg Roman bringing in or getting Malik Willis after bringing in Greg Roman, because Greg Roman is a successful offensive coordinator. He's really good when he knows what he has. Like, for example, Greg Roman, obviously really good in San Francisco with Colin Kaepernick. Obviously really good in the Buffalo when he had Tyrod Taylor. You know, semblance of quarterbacks, two similar styles. And then obviously, as he moved forward to the Baltimore Ravens, he wasn't the coordinator at first. Let me look it up right quick. I know he wasn't the coordinator first. I'm trying to remember who it was before Greg Roman, but essentially the same year that Lamar Jackson got there, he essentially took over the coordinator spot for the Baltimore Ravens. And the reason why I'm bringing these parts up and these points up for Greg Roman, I believe he's a really good coordinator. I think he knows what he's doing in the run game. But I think the issue with Roman is that he knew who he had at quarterback. Washington has no guarantee that they're going to get Malik Willis. That they're going to get Malik Willis come April. I don't think that's a guarantee. So while it makes sense if you can get a mobile quarterback, like you can even do that with Matt Corral. Like you can do that with him. He's gonna have to bulk up, and you have to grant him that ability to bulk up or that time to bulk up, so he can take hits because he is a runner. You're not going to strip that from his game. So Greg Roman will have success with Matt Corral as well. But if you can't guarantee either one of those two, then you're basically you're basically shit out of luck, because Roman uses all 11 players on his offense. He doesn't really use 10. And uses the quarterback just to throw the football. You know, he's a very creative coach, but that creativity stems from the ability of their quarterback, and that's kind of that's what we need, right? So a couple things from the game as well, and first and foremost, appreciate everybody who's new checking in. Let me go ahead and put the link back in the chat. Hey, this is an open concept show. Anybody wants to call in can do so. Jarian, you are hilarious. I'm looking at your comment now. Someone needs new batteries in that smoke alarm. That's funny. Link is in the chat for everybody that's tuning in or just tuning in. If you are migrating from Twitter, or if you are on Twitter, try to migrate from Twitter to Twitch or YouTube so you can be a part of the show. If you want to call in, you can do that. If you want to comment, you can do that as well. So a couple things from the game too, just to close out from that. And obviously we can see some of the comments from the coaches as well and react to those things. What was interesting that I noticed is Deandre Carter, man. I liked how he played today. And I don't think that he had a necessarily good game, but Deandre Carter was one person on the field who I felt had a IDGAF mentality. IDGAF. He didn't give a what. Like, he didn't care. Because every single return that he had that was not fair court, or that was not led into the end zone, it was all terrible decisions. Of a highlight play because he knew that the season was over, and I applaud him. I have no reason to criticize a person who was playing to make highlights, who was playing like it was his last down or his last snap, because this is a guy who knows there are no consequences for tomorrow if he messes up. He's not going to get cut after week 17 game. Like, there are no consequences to fumbling a snap that you're trying to make a big play on. And I'm sure his coaches gave him the green light before the game, which actually added to his confidence level. So a player like Deandre Carter, if I had to give key players credit, he's one for absolutely doing nothing. He's one person. But also Gibson, Washington football team defense, and the Washington football team offensive line. In the run game, I should say, for the offensive line, because there was one play where Brandon Sheriff got obliterated I think it was by 99, Leonard Williams, who disrupted the play. That interior for the New York Giants, 97 and 99 is still there. Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, they're still there. They're still pretty good. So they had their hands full in the pass rush from the interior side, but the run game, the offensive line was magnificent. Gibson had cutback lanes, open holes all day. It was incredible to see. He protected the ball, which was also for him. It was also a bonus. Let's get into that Gibson thing, man. There were some comments today on Gibson. While I understand your frustration if you were one who just never wavered on Gibson, right? Like, for example, like, you know how bad of a season he had. Let's go ahead and pull this thing up right quick, right? Oh, it's moving much faster on this side. Oh yeah, hell yeah. All right, hold on. We almost there. All right, boom. So let me go ahead and switch screens. Stop. We're going to share. 1 second so I can show you all. We can move along with this. All right. Let's make sure we are boom. All right. So we're looking at a guy who had 100 yards on the season just one time. And after the Las Vegas Raiders game, in a game which he was under 4 yards to carry, he had 36 yards, 26 yards, and 29 yards. So obviously the 145-yard day for Antonio Gibson was really impressive, man. You can't take that away from him. He had, like I said, the cutback lanes. He saw him and he hit him. The vision, he had some good on the offensive line actually helped him out to have holes that he couldn't really avoid. Like, it was impossible. But I saw comments, man, that kind of actually like went at or took jabs at the individuals who has been criticizing Antonio Gibbs this year. He has left. There's a fact. He has left yards on the field this year. He's left yards on the field this year. You can't take that away from even with him accumulating 1,000-yard season, which is a congratulatory moment for him. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to Terry McLaurin for accumulating 1,000 yards on the season. Like, that's a big feat. Like, you can't take that away. Antonio Gibson is a talented back. He's a good back. But if you ignore his flaws that he's had this year, it kind of undermines or it sweeps under the rug what he has been struggling with, which has been his ability or his inability to pick up the yards that are potentially there. He leaves yards on the field, and he has issues with ball security. Like, that's just been a constant for him this entire season. And while a strong game to close out the year is really good for him, you have to understand that there are also other factors that make what a running back does important. Another thing, so we see the numbers right here. Another thing for me, as we look at these evaluations of Antonio Gibson, I would say, so moving on from Antonio Gibson is definitely premature. If you've said that, then that's one thing, and that's beyond it premature. Like, you can't really let go of a guy like that. But for a person who's fumbling as often as he did, and I think he leads the league in fumbles at the position, it's hard to really stand by a guy and promote him when he's a person you can't trust. Granted, the last few games of the year, you really had no choice because of the injuries. David McKissick is out. Jonathan Williams is around. Jarek Patterson, he's around too. But are you going to bench a playable Antonio Gibson to start those two and Wendell Smallwood? I don't think you're going to do that. So it's good that he finished out the season strong. But all I would say is, as we head into the offseason, do not discount or do not turn a blind eye to his mistakes and his flaws, because all that'll do as he continues to be a face of this offense, if he continues to struggle, you only have yourself but to blame for when the time comes when he got to get the snip. When the snip come, it's a wrap. Simple as that. Okay. Where was another? Okay, Joe Judge. Let's go ahead and get back to some of the comments from the reporters. No, we're not gonna. Yeah, we're gonna stop, share, and let's get back to Twitter. There we go. All right. So here was one thing that Ron Rivera. Where is he? I mentioned Joe Judge, but I want to start with Ron. Ron Rivera asked if he anticipated making any staff changes. This kind of goes to the conversation with Merle that he made. He said his answer was no. He doesn't anticipate doing anything. This response just blew me. No, I don't anticipate doing anything other than the things that we need to do to go forward. I don't even know what that means. I'm looking at the comments now. I don't even know what this means. It doesn't even sound convincing. It sounds very evasive as an answer. But if you're wondering about his staff changes, he's not anticipating anything right now. Like, he flat out said no. But who knows what that means. An update on Cam Curl. Ron Rivera says that Cam Curl is okay. It just may have been a hyperextension. So I guess him being carted off was a precautionary measure. They didn't want him on the leg. They didn't want him damaging anything any further than what it already had been. But it was in hyperextension. Moving forward, Rivera was asked on Joe Judge's clown organization comment / fighting. He didn't know what our guys were going through. To make a comment like that was unfair. People don't understand. They've been going through an awful lot in a short period of time. So he said that they talked as well. Absolutely fine. They talked. I'm assuming it's actually Joe Judge and Ron Rivera. So absolutely fine. One more thing. I don't think we're done, actually. Let me go ahead and click on Kime and Mrs. Javala. All right. I think I just lost it. I just lost the numbers. We got some more things to talk about as well. Good Lord. Oh, here we go. On when he ran the 2 quarterback sneaks deep in their own territory, he wanted to run them to create space for when they punted it on 4th down. Now, if we have to go back to the discussion of a coach talking about quitting, I think that says it all. If you're talking about quitting in a situation where the game is only 1 possession, you're down by 6 at most, because I don't remember the second time they did. I think we didn't score. So it was still 3-0. When you're talking about a team who's down only 1 possession regardless, and you're talking about running it on 4th down, running on 3rd down to set up for a better punt on 4th down. I don't know how obvious it isn't. That makes sense. I don't know how obvious it isn't in a situation like that when you're talking about a coach who's really packing it in for his team. Look, as always, what's the theme of the show? 1, 2, 3, Cancun. Let's go to Cancun. And Joe Judge is well on his way with those play calls, man. All right. Back to where are we at? Let's see if he had anything more. This will be an iconic tweet forever. This is not Michael Phillips' tweet. He stole the picture, but the picture itself. This is 2016. I know all y'all remember that. They were on their way to Cancun or wherever they were because they had that bye week in the 2016 playoffs. Okay. So he actually ball game. Okay. Asked if Ron Rivera. No, I don't anticipate anything we need to do. Bobby McCain. Shout out to Bobby McCain too. Pick 6, should have had another attempt at a pick 6. I know he fell short to end the game, but trust me, if I was Bobby McCain in a situation where I caught another pick towards the tail end of the game of week 18, I'm not going down. You got to tackle me, shorty. All right, so Taylor Heineke on Terry McLaurin reaching 1,000 yards. It's been a big accomplishment. Been in the league 3 years and has two of them, meaning 1,000-yard seasons. He's gone through 7, 8, 9 quarterbacks. It's a testament to who he is and how hard he works. And the thing with that comment is, like, Taylor or Terry is going to experience maybe 10 to 11 more quarterbacks by the end of 2022 season. Whether it's a bridge quarterback or whether it's a starter who somebody gets hurt, like something's going to happen in 2022 where he'll see 2 more quarterbacks once again, at least 2. It's just kind of how things go over here. You know, we're not wishing on injuries or anything, but when you have 9 quarterbacks in your first 3 seasons, it's not going to stop at the drop of a dime or drop of a hat. It's going to keep going until we get stability at this position, whether it's through bridge or through injury. Something just always happens at the quarterback position. So hopefully I'm wrong, but I'm just going based off history here. Terry is going to see his 10th or 11th quarterback heading, or by the end of the 2022 season, he'll have 10 or 11 thrown to him throughout his career. Let's see what somebody else has spoke. Ben Standick, he does some post-game quotes as well. Let's catch up on them, see what he was able to comment. And shout out to that 17th game. Terry's right. And he got that starter jacket on. That John official, boy. I need that. All right. So Taylor Heineke recognizes his role of the future with Washington, and it's out of his control, but he'll do what he can prepare for next season. Haven't gone through uncertainty, he knows what to expect, but this time from the perspective as someone who's shown he can play at this level. I read that as if it was about to be a quote, but it wasn't. So I wasted my time there. Wow. It's really not that much. It's really not that much. Let's get the audio of Terry McLaurin, his full quote on 1,000 yards for the second straight season. And go there. Hold on one second. I just realized too that I'm not sharing it on. I'm sharing it on the wrong one. Let's go back to. Here we go. My bad, y'all.
You know, it's a blessing to be able to do that just once in the NFL, let alone twice. You know, I don't think I could really do that without the guys that are in the locker room, from the quarterbacks to the O-line to the other receivers. You know, to be trusted to be the main guy is not as easy as it may sound, and you have to earn it every single day. And that's been my mentality since I got drafted here, and I don't think that's going to change. So, you know, I'm blessed to be healthy. Thank God for the opportunity to be in this situation, to do this. And you know, what Drew always says that the next hardest thing to do is to do it again and to keep that consistency. So I just want to be consistent, get better coming into next season, and see what happens.
Any thoughts about moving to safety after that?
You know, it's a blessing to be able to.
Now, I was about to end it, but I'll close out on this one last thing because Michael Phillips, I heard him. My bad, Dakota. Michael Phillips, I heard him at the end asking if he was going to play defensive back following that near interception from Taylor Heineke. There was one comment that I had in the game that I just like I thought it was funny. On one occasion, you'll see Taylor Heineke wanting to play catch with Jesus, and on other occasions, he's holding on to the ball like he's trying to meet Jesus, and can't make up his mind. And ultimately, that's the type of inconsistency, like overthrowing, zeroing in on his receivers, which ultimately almost threw that interception because it was a poor throw, but he also stared down Terry. Like again, overthrowing, holding on to the ball too long. It's what deducts points from his ability to be a long-term starter. Again, a dropped INT, and I think he had multiple muffed snaps from the center. So it kind of hurts him. And I think that question of, again, we'll talk about it moving forward, but that question of who's going to be the quarterback is obviously the most important thing. The next thing will be, like we just saw with Terry, is locking him up, in my mind. But the quarterback position is going to be the ultimate and most important measure of a successful offseason for Ron Rivera in year 3. I don't know. Well, I do have my top 2 order for the draft, but I don't know like the full 5 or 6. I plan on doing that moving forward in terms of identifying how Washington should move if they were to go in the draft and which route they should go. I look forward to outlining that, but clearly we know how important that position is. All right, so I've been on for 45 minutes, man. We don't have much to talk about in terms of the Giants game, and the call-in was appreciated. But this week we do have guests lined up. Excuse me. We're working on guests, but if things are confirmed, it's going to be a great lineup as we get ready for the offseason. I'm looking forward to it. In terms of the schedule for the offseason, this is the last week where we do 3 a week. Washington football stuff, meaning Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. It'll be now down to 1 a week, as well as all 32. That's going to continue to be once a week. So after this week again, we're here Tuesday and we're here Thursday. We're going to be down to 1 a week moving forward for Washington football talk. But the schedule will have content and conversations surrounding off-season needs, off-season do's and don'ts, season recap, grades, what's it called? Report cards or whatever that thing is called. I haven't been in school in a long time, grade school in a long time. So I forgot for a second. But we have a lot of things outlined. And for me, on a personal side, and I'll share it with you all because y'all have been here for the longest in terms of the viewers that we do have right now. I'll share it with you all because you've been around for the longest and of the show today, and you all deserve to hear this for sticking with me this long. I haven't shared it with anyone except for my family, but I am going into the Scouting Academy for this semester. And for those who aren't familiar with the Scouting Academy, I'll be quick with you all. The Scouting Academy is basically in short term, which actually starts tomorrow, by the way, but short term is basically honing up on my football skills, my scouting skills, being able to evaluate players more cleanly and more efficiently versus the way I'm able to do it now. Like, I don't call myself a bad evaluator, but at the same time, I can always get better, and I can get much, much better. I know I'm not perfect, and I know I'm not where I should be if I want to be better at this part of evaluating and being able to inform you all. So my Scouting Academy journey starts tomorrow. And as this season goes along, or the off season goes along, if you follow the YouTube channel, you will get the information on the players, potential players, in terms of free agents or trade targets. You'll get updates on draft profiles. All of that information will be provided on the YouTube based on what I see and potential fits for players here in Washington, or based on who they've acquired and how they fit in Washington. So just be on the lookout for that on the personal side. So that is the news. So yeah, I think we're good. Man. The last 2021 post-game recap of the Trapper Dive is over. We will be ready 7 o'clock sharp, 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday to talk a little Washington football, and then back Wednesday and Thursday this week. And then we, again, narrow it down to 2 shows a week after this week. So with that, 2 shows in total, Washington and all 32. So with that being said, appreciate everybody who stayed in this long. Appreciate everybody who has watched, commented, all that good stuff. We're going to go ahead and close out, get back to the 4 o'clock games and that Sunday nighter, or with family, whatever it is that you're doing this evening. Appreciate y'all for sticking with us, sticking with Trapper Dive this late. So yeah, y'all be safe, enjoy your evening, all that good stuff. Peace. That is not. How do I end this?